Don't be late, okay? That's the fourth time she reminded you that morning. June stood near the kitchen island, her hair half painted, brushing the tips of her silver wings with the delicacy of someone handling treasure. Her wide brown eyes were locked on you, filled with a mix of nerves and excitement. You smiled, wiping your hands on a towel before crouching down to her level. We won't, I promise. She leaned in and wrapped her little arms around your neck. Appa too? You glanced at Jungkook, who was pacing across the living room with his phone against his ear. He looked up the moment he heard her question and gave her a playful wink. Of course, baby, he called out. Appa will be sitting right in the front row, cheering like a crazy fan, embarrassing levels of loud. She giggled, and that sound made her chest feel warm and soft and full. She had been counting down the days to her school's annual performance ever since she got selected to play a star fairy. It wasn't just a small role to her, it was everything: the wings, the sparkles, the stage lights, the applause. She wanted to fly, and she wanted her parents to see it. The four of you had gone shopping together the week before. June picked out silver shoes with glitter sole that blinked faintly when she walked. You helped her find a lavender dress with frills that made her feel extra magical. Jungkook let her ride on his shoulders through the mall, letting her point out snacks, decorations, and the biggest stuffed unicorn at the toy store, which of course came home with you. Even Jungsu, your 3-year-old, was swept up in the excitement. He clapped for his sister's rehearsals in the living room, mimicking her twirls in his little dinosaur pajamas. Dinner had been at June's favorite place, pancakes for dinner, because she called it her Star Fairy week. That night she placed her wings beside her pillow and fell asleep with the glittery shoes on the floor next to her bed. You and Jungkook stayed up late watching her sleep with her hand resting on her costume, the glow in the dark stars you had stuck to her ceiling reflecting in her eyelashes. She was so happy and you were so proud. The morning of her performance, June checked the clock every 5 minutes while eating banana pancakes with whipped cream and rainbow sprinkles. Her legs swung excitedly under the chair, her wings neatly folded beside her backpack. You'll come early, right? She asked again. Before it starts, not during. Before anyone else even arrives. Jungkook replied, crouching down beside her. You'll see me first, okay? She nodded, serious as ever. I'm going to wave from the stage. And we'll wave back. You said, kissing her forehead, loud and proud. When the school bus pulled up, she hopped in with her silver band sticking out of her backpack and a smile as bright as the morning sun. I'll wait for you, don't be late. Jungkook chuckled and kissed her forehead. I won't allow myself to miss my princess's performance. I'm a fairy, Appa, she said, getting offended, making Jungkook laugh softly. Okay, I'm sorry. My star fairy, best of luck. She waved until the bus disappeared down the street. Jungkook slung his arm over your shoulder as you both stayed outside. Jungkook placed a quick kiss on your cheek and reached for his blazer from you. I have to stop by the office for an hour. Just a couple of things to close before the weekend. You nodded, already walking toward the hallway to check on Jungsu. Come back soon, we need to leave by 4. Jungkook paused at the door, eyes softening. I'll be back before that. You just get him ready and be dressed when I call. We'll go together. We won't be late. You reminded him like a quiet oath echoing between two parents who had built their world around a 6-year-old's smile. Never. He agreed, kissed your forehead and then walked out the door. You closed the door behind Jungkook and glanced at the clock. Still a few hours until June's performance. Enough time to get everything ready. You turned around to find Jungkook toddling into the hallway, dragging his stuffed bunny by the ear. You crouched down with a soft smile. Let's get you ready, my prince. You said, brushing his messy bangs away from his forehead. We have to go see your Nuna shrine today. Are you excited? He blinked up at you with sleepy eyes, then nodded slowly. Nuna sparkle, he said with a little grin, pointing toward the wall where June's wings had been hanging earlier. You laughed quietly. That's right, she's going to sparkle so much today. You lifted him into your arms and carried him to the nursery. Let's find your Dino shirt, The green one that roars when you do. He nodded again, resting his head lazily on your shoulder. But when you leaned in to kiss his forehead, you paused. Your smile faltered. His skin was warm, too warm. You brushed your lips across his forehead again, slower this time, no doubt about it now. You are warm, you murmured, shifting him in your arms to see his face. Are you okay, my prince? His bottom lip wobbled slightly and he lets out a tiny sigh. Umma, my head hurting, he whispered, eyes glassy and tired. Your heart sank, a soft ache spread in your chest as you pressed your palm gently against his forehead and realized he had fever. No, not today. You quickly set him down on the changing mat and grabbed the thermometer from the drawer, your movements suddenly sharper, hands not as steady. It's okay, baby. Umma is here. Just let me check, okay? You glanced at the screen, 102.7. You froze. June's performance, the promise, Jungkook's face when he said he cancelled everything, her little voice asking if you would be early. But right now, your baby boy was burning up in your arms and everything started to unravel. Jungkook glanced at the time on his office wall for the fifth time in 10 minutes. 4 p.m. Still 2 hours until June's performance. But he didn't want to risk anything. Today wasn't just another school event. It was her day. His daughter had been talking about it non-stop for weeks and he wasn't going to miss a second. He leaned back in his chair, the corners of his lips tugging into a soft smile as he remembered her tiny hands cupping his cheeks this morning. Appa, sit in the front row, okay? And clap loudly, but don't cry. That's embarrassing. He chuckled under his breath, just thinking about it. June always talked like she was the adult in the house, and he adored it. Mr. John? His secretary Hannah peeked in through the door. Yeah, Jungkook stood straightening his blazer. Cancel the 3:30 with the board. I'll take it on Monday. Hannah blinked. You want me to postpone the strategic review? Yes, push it. Handle the rest of the day. I'm heading out early. He grabbed his phone and loosened his tie slightly. Today is not for meetings, it's for family. She nodded quickly, used to this side of him by now, calm, efficient, but never hesitating when it came to his kids and wife. Jungkook checked his phone. No new messages from you yet. He smiled to himself as he headed down the hallway, calling your number. So, did my queen and little prince get ready? He asked playfully, expecting to hear your tired but sweet voice, maybe Jungsu shouting something in the background. But what he got was silence and then your voice, low and shaky. Jungkook. He stopped walking. Something is wrong. It's Jungsu. His world froze. What happened to Jungsu? He's burning up. His fever is really high. I was getting him dressed and he said his head hurts. He's crying nonstop. It's not normal. Jungkook's heart plummeted. Don't worry, I'm coming home right now. Don't panic, okay? He hung up, already turning around before the phone even left his hand. Have the car brought around now. He barked, startling Hannah, who quickly sprang to action. The elevator ride felt like it took forever. In his head, he could still see Jiun's costume hanging by the door, her silver shoes, her bright, hopeful eyes this morning, and he hated it. He hated that this was happening. Hated that no matter how hard he tried to be everywhere, something always pulled him in two directions. Hold on, buddy, he whispered under his breath as the elevator dinged. Appa is coming. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and panic. Jungkook parked haphazardly near the emergency entrance, cutting the engine with one hand while unbuckling Jungkook's car seat with the other. You were already at the other side, arms out, your son clinging to your chest, warm and whimpering against your neck. "We are here, baby. It's okay now," you whispered, though your own voice was trembling. The nurse rushed you in the moment she saw his condition. Jungsu was flushed, sweating, and barely responsive now. His head drooped on your shoulder like he didn't have the strength to keep it up. Jungkook ran beside you, his hand never leaving your back. 3-year-old, you told the nurse. High fever, 102.7. He was okay in the morning, suddenly started complaining about the headache. Within minutes, a pediatrician entered, checking vitals, asking questions rapidly as the nurse hooked up the IV. Jungsu let out a soft cry as the needle pricked his arm and buried his face in your neck. You bit your lip to keep your own tears in. "It looks like a sudden viral infection," the doctor explained. "His fever spiked too fast. He's dehydrated and possibly in early stages of febrile convulsions. It's good you brought him quickly." Your arms tightened around your baby boy. "Is he going to be okay?" Jungkook asked, his voice low but tight with fear. "We'll monitor him here, let the fluids run and bring the fever down. We need to keep him under observation until his vitals stabilize." You nodded numbly. The clock on the wall struck 4:45 p.m. You knew what that meant. Your other baby was standing backstage somewhere, probably peeking through the curtains with those wide eyes searching for the parents who promised to wave first. You swallowed hard, blinking rapidly, refusing to cry in front of your son. "I'll stay with him," you whispered. Jungkook looked at you. "I'm not leaving either." And you both stayed. Sat on the tiny hospital bench, your arms wrapped around each other as your son finally fell asleep, a small oxygen mask covering his mouth. And across town, a different kind of heartbreak was unfolding. The auditorium was packed, lights were dimmed, parents filled every seat holding up cameras and cheering as class after class performed their songs and skits. Backstage, June stood in a line of sparkling little fairies, her hands fidgeting with the hem of her lavender dress. The soft wings on her back shimmered faintly under the glow of stage lights. "You ready?" her teacher asked with a warm smile. June gave a tiny nod. She peeked out through the red curtains, holding her breath. She searched the front row, but nothing. Not her face, not Jungkook's, not even Jungsu's. Her fingers curled into the side of the curtain. "Maybe they are running late," she mumbled to herself. "Appa said they would be early." More and more parents started settling into their seats. The host announced, "Next up, our graceful star from grade 1, Jeon John." The spotlight hit the stage as she stepped into the center with trembling excitement. Her tiny feet moved to the rhythm of the music. Her smile was there, but her eyes were still searching. She danced, her shoes sparkled, her smile didn't. Every time she turned, her eyes darted back to the crowd. She squinted through the lights, hoping, wishing. Every time someone in the audience stood up or waved, her heart jumped only to drop again. The performance ended. Everyone clapped, everyone but her. She stood still for a moment, longer than the others, before walking backstage quietly, back to the curtain, back to the silence. "Did you see your parents out there?" One of her friends asked, swinging her wings with a grin. She didn't answer. She just nodded slowly. They probably sat in the back, but her heart knew better. They didn't come, not even Appa, not even Oma, not even her little brother. Her eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall in front of anyone, but her chest ached, her hands clenched. She had done everything perfectly and they missed it. Back in the hospital, you stood in the hallway with Jungkook. You didn't even realize when the tears slipped down your cheeks. "We missed it," you whispered. Jungkook clenched his jaw, running a hand through his hair, looking utterly defeated. "She must have waited." You nodded. She was so excited, and we weren't there. Your phone buzzed, a message from her teacher. June completed her performance bravely, but she kept asking for you both. You scroll down, and there it was, a photo of June on stage, still dressed like a princess, holding her trophy with a forced smile. But her eyes, they weren't smiling. June sat quietly in the back seat of the school bus, gripping her bag. The excitement from the morning had faded. No pictures with her parents, no hug from Appa, no claps from Omma, just silence. As the bus dropped her near home, she walked inside slowly, her trophy in hand, but the house was still empty. No decorations. She stood there at the door and quietly placed the trophy on the table before heading straight to her room. That night, when you returned from the hospital exhausted, holding a sleeping Jungsu in your arms, your heart clenched at the sight of her tiny silver trophy, untouched, cold, and her door closed. The house was still, not just quiet, but the kind of stillness that creeps into your chest and stays there, heavy. You placed a sleeping Jungsu gently on the bed, covering him with a soft blanket as Jungkook stepped out of the washroom, rubbing his tired face with a towel. He glanced at you. Is she awake? You shook your head. Her door is still closed since we came. He looked away. She's mad at me. You sighed, running your hand through your tangled hair. She's heartbroken. June's room was dim, the curtains drawn, soft moonlight falling on her bed. She lay curled under her blanket, her back to the door. The sparkly silver outfit still lay on the chair, untouched. Her crown was beside her pillow, but not on her head. You walked in slowly and sat on the edge of her bed. Princess, no reply. You reached to softly stroke her head. I'm so sorry, my baby. Still no reply, but you noticed it, the way her fingers clutched the blanket just a little tighter. Jungsu got really sick today, and I didn't know what to do. Appa rushed us to the hospital and we stayed there all day. I should have sent someone to stay with you. I should have at least told your teacher. She stayed silent. You were so brave up there. I saw the photo. You looked like magic, June, like the brightest star on that stage. Still, she didn't move. But that was when you noticed it, the shimmer of tears soaking into her pillow. You leaned closer and whispered, you deserve to be celebrated. You deserve to be held tight and told how proud we are. I failed you today. I'm sorry, baby. A tiny sob escaped her, muffled into her pillow. That was all it took. You leaned over and wrapped your arms around her. She didn't hug back, but she didn't push you away either. Meanwhile, outside the room, Jungkook paced the hallway, a bouquet of pink flowers in one hand and a handmade I'm sorry card he had scribbled during the hospital wait in the other. He had written, to the bravest dancer in the world, from your stupid Appa. He knocked lightly on the door. You turn your head. It's Appa. You whispered to June. She didn't respond, but her sobs had stopped. Jungkook stepped in slowly, kneeling beside her bed. Hey baby, I know you are not in the mood to hear me and you shouldn't be. I missed your big day. I promised I would be there and I wasn't. And I have no excuse, just guilt, a whole lot of it. He placed the flowers and card beside her. I hope someday you forgive me, but even if it takes time, I'll wait because missing you today felt worse than anything I have ever felt in my life. You always say sorry. Finally, she spoke and her voice was a mix of anger and heartbreak. You always miss my things, but you never miss his. Not even when he just sneezes. You take him to the doctor. If I tell you I have a tummy ache, you say it's gas. You and Jungkook exchange a glance. She wasn't just upset about today. He cries and you both come running. She says shakily. Tears finally fell from your eyes. I'm sorry, love. You said he's little, but I'm little too. Why doesn't anyone remember that? Her voice cracked on that last line. Jungkook's heart shattered. He reached for her hand and she pulled it back. After Jungsu was born, everything changed. Everyone says he's the baby, but what about me? Wasn't I your baby too? Her tears fell. You gently wiped them as your own vision blurred. You are our first heartbeat. he whispered, and I think we got so caught up taking care of Jungsu, we forgot that you still need us too. That you're still small, that you still need to be hugged, spoiled, clapped for. I'm so sorry, June. Jungkook leaned in, resting his forehead gently against hers. I'm ashamed that I made my little girl feel like she had to fight for love in her own home. You don't have to fight for us, June. You are our star. You always will be. Finally, her stiff shoulders loosened. She leaned forward, resting her head on Jungkook's chest. I missed you today, Appa, she sniffled. I looked and looked, but you weren't there, and I will regret that for a long, long time, he whispered. But I promise I will spend every single day proving to you how proud I am of you. She hugged both of you, and tears fell freely. Later that night, Jungkook brought out her performance outfit and asked her to wear it. You helped redo her bun, and this time both of you sat on the couch with phones ready and eyes wide. She danced again in your living room, barefoot, still teary-eyed but with a soft smile. And this time when she twirled, she saw you clapping, cheering, loving her the way she deserved.